My name is Marcus Rivera. I'm 43 years old, a freelance photographer, and in January 2013, I made the mistake that would change my life forever. I checked into the Cecil Hotel. I had come to Los Angeles for a job, photographing the urban landscape of downtown, especially Skid Row. I needed something cheap, something in the heart of the area I wanted to document. The Cecil was perfect. $124 a week, room 514, 5th floor, right in the middle of everything I needed to capture. What I didn't know was that I'd be capturing something far more disturbing than urban poverty. The Cecil Hotel has a reputation. Everyone who lives in LA knows it. Built in the 1920s during the city's golden age, it should have been elegant, should have been prestigious. Instead, it became a magnet for darkness, suicides, murders, serial killers. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker himself, stayed there in the 80s. So did Jack Unterweger, an Austrian serial killer who murdered prostitutes. The place has a feeling. The moment you walk through those doors, you feel it. A heaviness in the air. A coldness that has nothing to do with temperature. The lobby tries to maintain some dignity. Art Deco fixtures, old couches, a faded elegance clinging desperately to the walls. But it can't hide what it is. A place where hope goes to die. I checked in on January 26, 2013, Saturday afternoon. The clerk barely looked at me as he handed over the key, an actual metal key, not a card. 5th floor, elevator's that way. Checkout is noon. I took the elevator up. It was old, cramped, with mirrors on 3 walls that made it feel even smaller. The kind of elevator where you can't escape your own reflection. I watched myself ascending. Tired eyes, 2 days of stubble, camera bag slung over my shoulder. I looked like every other transient soul that passed through this place. The 5th floor hallway was long and narrow. Dim fluorescent lights flickered overhead. The carpet was worn, stained with decades of God knows what. Doors lined both sides, most of them closed, but I could hear life behind them. Televisions murmuring, arguments in Spanish, someone coughing wetly. Room 514 was at the end of the hall, corner room. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. Small. That was my first thought. Barely enough space for a double bed, a small desk, and a chair. A window overlooked Main Street below. The bathroom was tiny. Shower, toilet, sink, all crammed together. But it was clean enough. That's all I needed. I unpacked my cameras, set up my laptop, and went out to shoot. Spent the afternoon and evening capturing the streets, the homeless encampments, the addicts, the working poor struggling to survive. The human side of LA that tourists never see. When I returned to the Cecil around 11 p.m., the lobby was different. Darker. More people lingering. Not guests, but people who shouldn't be there. Drug dealers, probably. Prostitutes. The night clerk ignored them all. I took the elevator back up to the 5th floor. That's when I first heard it. Footsteps. In the hallway. Pacing back and forth. Back and forth. Fast, urgent footsteps. I opened my door and looked out. Nothing. The hallway was empty. But I could still hear them. Footsteps. Right outside my door. Back and forth. Back and forth. "Hello?" I called out. The footsteps stopped. I waited. 30 seconds. A minute. Nothing. I went back inside, locked my door, and tried to sleep. But the feeling stayed with me. That sensation of being watched, of not being alone. The next morning, January 27th, I woke to voices in the hallway. I checked my watch. 7:15 a.m. I opened my door and saw a young woman standing at the elevator, talking to herself. Or at least, it seemed like she was talking to herself. Her lips were moving, but I couldn't hear words, just murmurs. She was Asian, early 20s, wearing a red hoodie. She had her phone in her hand, checking it obsessively. Then she looked up, directly at me. Her eyes were strange. Not scared, but uncertain. Like she wasn't sure if I was really there. "Good morning," I said. She didn't respond. Just turned back to the elevator and pressed the button. The doors opened. She stepped inside. I should have thought more about that moment. Should have recognized the look in her eyes. But I was focused on my work. I grabbed my cameras and headed out for another day of shooting. That evening, when I returned, the elevator wasn't working properly. It kept stopping on the 5th floor, doors opening, then closing, then opening again. No one getting on or off. Just opening and closing. "Damn thing's been broken all day," the night clerk muttered when I asked about it. "Maintenance is coming tomorrow." I took the stairs. When I reached the 5th floor and opened the stairwell door, I saw her again. The girl in the red hoodie. She was at the elevator, pressing buttons, over and over. Stepping in, stepping out, looking down the hallway, hiding in the corner of the elevator, making strange gestures with her hands, like she was waving something away. "Are you okay?" I asked. She turned to me. This time, her eyes were different, frightened. "Is someone following you?" she asked. "No. Why?" "Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure?" "Yes, there's no one else here." She looked past me, down the empty hallway. "There's always someone here," she whispered. "Can't you feel them?" A chill ran down my spine. Because I could. That same feeling from the night before, of being watched, of presence without form. "What room are you in?" I asked. 506, she said. "Right there." She pointed to a door just down from mine. "But I don't want to go back. They're in there." "Who's in there?" "I don't know, but they're there. They're always there." She was having a breakdown. That was obvious. Mental health crisis. I should call someone. The front desk, security, someone. But she suddenly smiled. A bright, normal smile that completely contradicted everything she'd just said. "I'm sorry. I'm being weird. I'm just tired. Haven't been sleeping well. This place..." She looked around. "This place has bad energy, you know." "Yeah," I agreed. "I know. I'm Elisa, by the way. Elisa Lam. Marcus Rivera." "You're a photographer?" She nodded at my camera bag. "Yeah, documenting Skid Row." "That's cool. I'm traveling, taking a break from school, seeing America." She laughed, but it sounded hollow. "Though, I picked a hell of a hotel to stay in, right?" "It's got character," I said diplomatically. "It's got something." She pressed the elevator button again. This time, it opened normally. "Good night, Marcus. Be careful in this place. Don't drink the water." That last comment seemed odd, but I dismissed it. She stepped into the elevator and disappeared. That was January 29th, the last time I saw Elisa Lam alive. The next morning, January 30th, I left early for a shoot in Venice Beach. Didn't return until late that night. When I got back, the 5th floor was quiet. Too quiet. Over the next few days, I was mostly out, but I started noticing things. Elisa's door, room 506, was always closed. No sounds coming from inside. No signs of life. The Do Not Disturb sign hung on the handle for 3 days straight. On February 1st, I saw housekeeping trying to enter her room. The door was locked from inside. They knocked. No answer. "That Canadian girl's room," one of the housekeepers said to another. "She hasn't been seen in days. Front desk is worried." Canadian. So Elisa was from Canada. Should we call someone? The other asked. Already did. Manager's coming up. I went into my room but left my door slightly open, watching. The manager arrived with a master key. He knocked loudly. Ms. Lam, are you in there? We need to do a welfare check. No response. He unlocked the door and pushed it open. The room was empty. Bed unmade. Clothes scattered around. Her laptop open on the desk. Phone charger plugged into the wall, but no phone. But she wasn't there. When was the last time anyone saw her? The manager asked. Days ago, the housekeeper said. Maybe 4, 5 days? The manager's face went white. Call the police, now! That's when it became real. That's when I understood something was seriously wrong. LAPD arrived within the hour. Detectives. They questioned everyone on the 5th floor. When they got to me, I told them about the encounters. About her strange behavior at the elevator. About her fear of someone following her. Did she seem suicidal? The detective asked. No. Scared, maybe. Paranoid, but not suicidal. Did she mention anyone? Friends? Family? Anyone she was meeting? No, she said she was traveling alone. They thanked me and moved on. I heard them questioning other guests. No one had seen her since January 31st. She had simply vanished. The next day, February 2nd, I saw them reviewing security footage in the lobby. I was heading out when I caught a glimpse of the screen. It showed the elevator and Elisa, doing exactly what I'd seen her doing that night. Stepping in and out, pressing buttons, hiding in the corner, waving her hands, looking terrified. But in the footage, she was alone, completely alone. Whatever she was afraid of, whatever she was running from, it wasn't visible. The video was released to the public a few days later. It went viral. Millions of people watched it, trying to decipher what was happening. Theories exploded online. Paranormal activity, possession, murder, conspiracy. But I had been there. I had seen her, spoken to her, and I knew what I saw in her eyes. Terror. Pure, absolute terror. Of something only she could perceive. The search continued. Police combed the hotel, the surrounding area. Her parents flew in from Canada, desperate, heartbroken. Flyers were posted everywhere. News crews camped outside the Cecil. But Elisa Lam had disappeared without a trace. Until February 19th. I was in my room when I heard the commotion downstairs. Shouting, running, police radios crackling. I went down to the lobby. Guests were being evacuated. What's happening? I asked. Water problem, a cop said. Everyone needs to leave, now. What kind of water problem? He didn't answer, just waved me toward the exit. Outside, I joined the crowd of displaced guests. We stood on the sidewalk, watching as more police arrived. Fire department, detectives, crime scene investigators. What's going on? Someone asked. A clerk who'd been evacuated with us said quietly, They found something in the water tank. My blood turned to ice. What did they find? A body. The next few hours were a blur of police activity. Helicopters overhead, news vans lining the street. And then the confirmation came through the grapevine, spreading among the evacuated guests like wildfire. They'd found Elisa Lam in the water tank, on the roof. She had been there the entire time, for 19 days, decomposing in the water supply. The same water we'd all been drinking, showering with, brushing our teeth with. Ugh! I vomited right there on the sidewalk. The questions that followed had no good answers. How did she get to the roof? The door was locked, alarmed. How did she get into the water tank? The hatch was heavy, difficult to open. Why was she naked? Her clothes were found floating beside her body. And most disturbing of all, why? Why would she climb into a water tank? The official ruling eventually came back. Accidental drowning. Elisa had bipolar disorder. She'd stopped taking her medication. She'd had a psychotic episode, somehow accessed the roof, climbed into the water tank, and drowned. Accidental. Case closed. But I know what I saw. I know the fear in her eyes. I know she believed someone or something was following her, hunting her. And I know something else. Something I've never told anyone until now. On the night of January 31st, the last night anyone saw Elisa, I heard footsteps again, outside my door. That same frantic pacing, back and forth, back and forth. I opened my door. The hallway was empty, but Elisa's door, room 506, was wide open. The lights were off inside, and I swear, I saw a shadow move across the far wall. A shadow of something that wasn't human. Something tall, thin, twisted. And then Elisa's door slammed shut, by itself. No wind, no one there. It just slammed. I should have checked, should have knocked, should have done something, but I was terrified. I went back into my room, locked my door, and pretended I'd seen nothing. That was my mistake, my failure. Maybe if I'd checked, maybe if I'd intervened, Elisa Lam would still be alive. I left the Cecil Hotel on February 20th, the day after they found her body. I never went back. Never finished my photography project. Never returned to Los Angeles. But the Cecil Hotel never left me. I still have nightmares. I still hear those footsteps pacing outside my door, wherever I am. I still see that shadow moving across the wall. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I hear a voice. Her voice. There's always someone here. Can't you feel them? Yes, Elisa. I feel them. I felt them then, and I feel them now. The Hotel Cecil isn't just a building. It's a trap. A place where darkness concentrates, where troubled souls are drawn and consumed. Elisa Lam wasn't the first. She won't be the last. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see that elevator security footage. But in my version, there's one difference. Elisa isn't alone in that elevator. There's something standing behind her, something the camera can't quite capture, something just beyond the frame, just outside of human perception. But she could see it. She knew it was there. And it followed her all the way to that water tank on the roof. My name is Marcus Rivera. I'm 43 years old, and I was in room 514 of the Hotel Cecil when Elisa Lam disappeared. I was there, and I did nothing. That's a guilt I'll carry until the day I die. The hotel closed down eventually. Rebranded, renovated, trying to escape its history. But you can't renovate away darkness. You can't rebrand evil. The Cecil Hotel is still there, still standing, still waiting. And if you ever find yourself in downtown Los Angeles looking for cheap accommodation and someone offers you a room at the Cecil, now called Stay on Main. I'm begging you, don't go. Don't make the same mistake I did. Because some places aren't just haunted by ghosts. Some places are the ghost. And once you step inside, a part of you never leaves.